Between the Santa Monica Mountains and the gleaming Pacific sits one of California's most sought-after addresses, Malibu.
John,
Hi, Richard. Nice to meet you.
are you going to show me the homes of the stars?
Absolutely. I'm on Starline. Let's get on board and we'll get going.
Let's do it.
These clifftop villas sell for millions.
So this is David Beckham's place coming up on our right.
This is David Beckham's place.
The villas are owned by some of the most famous people on the planet.
That's Simon Cowell's place right there.
Just there.
But even the Malibu tour guides don't know who owns one particularly imposing property.
Who lives here on this house on the left? Just here now. Who lives here?
I have no idea. Extremely impressive.
The mansion with the white roof was bought for $33.5 million in 2014. Its owner hidden behind offshore secrecy. The same mystery owner has also bought the properties on either side.
It's a very impressive place. And if you look, it's the highest point on the cliff, so it's like a prime spot. And not just that villa, but 3 in a row. And we have solved the mystery of who owns this spot.
We've obtained documents that show it's the secret fortune of a king. It's held through a company called Nabisco Holdings. But the real owner is Abdullah Al-Hussein, better known as the King of Jordan. His kingdom isn't rich. It receives international aid, including £650 million from the UK over 5 years. The king has been accused of corruption.
King Abdullah runs Jordan, and although sometimes you see efforts by the king to sort of deflect blame onto his government, but people know that the buck stops with the king. And one interesting thing that we've seen in some of protests in some of the more recent years are people who aren't just calling, blaming the prime minister, but aiming it at Abdullah himself.
The king's properties are revealed by a huge leak of offshore emails and financial data. A secret source handed 12 million files to the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists.
They made it very clear to me that they want this information to come to the attention of governments all over the world.
The consortium is leading a global investigation involving more than 600 journalists around the world, including The Guardian in the UK. With the King of Jordan, it wasn't just villas in Malibu. Documents dating from 2003 to 2017 show he also bought property in the US Capitol.
This is said to be one of Washington, D.C.'s most glamorous areas, and the files show the king has secretly been spending millions here.
The files reveal the king bought 4 apartments in this block for $16 million. These are properties that Jordanians don't know about.
It's just very, very difficult for the average Jordanian to achieve just sort of a basic level of home and family and a good job. And so to have it really thrown in Jordanians' faces that he's just been sort of funneling money abroad all this time, that would look really bad.
And there's more. We found a total of 15 properties hidden behind offshore companies. 6 of them are in London. It's a matter of public record when you or I buy a house. The rich can keep it secret.
So the files show that these are the properties that are owned by the King of Jordan. So firstly, there's this one. So he's got 3 flats in there, and then all of this. And then if we go around here, there's more. If you look down here in this little private street, this mews, we can't go in there, but we can have a peek. This first one and the second one, the files show that the king owns them as well. So that makes for an enormous block of property right bang smack in Belgravia.
Our investigation reveals the king spent more than £70 million on his property empire.
It's worth bearing in mind that while the UK was sending millions in much needed aid to Jordan, the King of Jordan was spending millions on fancy properties in the heart of London.
The King of Jordan's lawyers said our information is not accurate or up to date. They said there is nothing improper about his ownership of properties and the source of funds is personal wealth. They said the use of corporate entities to protect his privacy is a common practice among high-profile individuals. But our documents show the king's offshore advisors didn't always comply with the rules. They kept his identity hidden and referred to him as you-know-who. But now, the king's secret is out.
I am astonished to hear that the king owns all these assets and properties, especially considering that Jordan is a poor country with dire budget problems, and the king and the people are constantly seeking help from abroad. When I hear this, naturally, I do feel sad and shocked.